Hey guys, thought I'd do a very quick update to the leveling and tips guide that I made for Ashes of Creation Alpha 1. So for leveling, if you're planning on playing in the month long and you're expecting them to not wipe, which is, yeah, I don't know. They may wipe, but if you're thinking they won't wipe and you want to try to get to 15 just to see what's available at 15, short story, there's not a whole lot extra available at level 15 that's not available to lower levels. But for me, it was worth it to try to get to 15 at least once just to check out the armor and some of the other things that are available, raids and things like that. 1 to 3 in your starting area. Do the quests in the guide. I'll show you the guide in a minute, and it'll be linked in the description. I omitted there's a crypt. I think this is the crypt and this is the cave. I don't recommend doing any of those quests. Just do the ones here. You can get through that. Get 1 to 3, and you can get that extremely fast. Probably 30 minutes max if you really get good at following the guide. Follow this line, do your apparition quest. There's a little quest right about here you can do. You'll see that in the guide. You can do a couple steps of it, and then you're supposed to kill the brood mother for the last step. You're going to have to level up and get a group before you go do that. Follow your apparition, then take the ferry to Nala. Right here is the honey hole where you can level 3 to 6 in about 20 minutes max, maybe less than that, probably like 10. And then from there, if you're planning to do the month-long test, if it's a longer test, I recommend get your mounts, which is either going to be Nala or Winstead. On Resna, it's on Nala. On Lith, it's Winstead that got to level 3. Whichever of these two gets to level 3, the other one gets locked out. So typically, Winstead does hit level 3 before Nala, but on Resna, the biggest guild there basically rushed to Nala because of this honey hole quest spot, which a lot of people do, and got Nala to level 3 before Winstead. Which is a little unfortunate because when you get Winstead to level 3, there's a bunch of quests on the west side of Winstead that appear. So you get a little bit more quests, and some of them have good XP and decent rewards. So you get a little bit of extra questing so you don't have to grind as much, but that's fine. On Resna, you'll have to go to Nala. There's not really any extra quests in Nala. On any server, you need to go to Nala and get these quests. And then after that, do your main quest line is what I recommend. At some point, definitely get up to Ilwyn because you can get a couple levels very fast on this quest chain, and it's very quick. That's also the spot where people are getting that super speed buff that you've seen. It's just, dialogue in that quest chain for Ilwyn runes. This is Ilwyn runes right here. Yeah, they just answer this question that makes them go fast, and then they run away, come back, and do that over and over again. And you just stack that speed buff forever until you log out. It's there. I didn't do it, but the other thing this quest gives you is a flame sieve or fiery sieve or something like that one-shots ancient mobs. And so the ancient mobs here are level 10. What people are doing is they'll take that over these level 13 to 15 ancients along here, and they grind those. Basically, once you hit level 10, after hitting the main quest, you'll be about level 10. Main quest takes a long time, takes you all over the map. It starts here with the, you kill 10 somethings for Rhea, and then, you go all over this area, back and forth here a bunch of times, over to Nala, do a bunch of things in Nala. All over here, you spend a lot of time in Elion, and then eventually you kill the final boss, which I want to say it was over here. And then you'll be about level 10. Once you hit level 10, if you get the flame sieve, you come over here, grind on these level 13 to 15 ancients, and there's some on this little beach as well. The other thing people do, and this is also in the guide, they'll come up and kill these raptors that are like all level 15 up here. And raptors are good because they low HP and they die fast, and they don't have any like special abilities at all. No buffs, no disables, anything like that. That's basically like the fastest way if you just want a power level. So you can go, then after that you can do the dragons. And the dragons are basically, right here is the poison dragon, ice dragon, I want to say like right here, fire dragon, supposedly the hardest dragon where you got to have the Emberstone talismans right here. Worm is right here. The boss for your main quest is here. That one's fairly easy. Yeah, I think those are the main dragons. I think those are the main dragons. So that's basically your in-game content is running these dragons and doing crafting. Nala Node on Resna has a lot of crafting stations up, and you can get probably some of the best gear here, but tremendous amount of materials and gold needed for a lot of that gear. But the bosses do drop a lot of the same gear. They have pretty good loot tables now. So that's really kind of your end game right now once you get to 15 is crafting and running these dragons and sieges and PvP if it's available. Let's go just take a quick look at the guide. I'll put a link in the description for this. Here's that map again. The first part's your leveling guide. I have leveling guides for each of the different zones. Drythorn, if it levels up, these quests pop up. But on Resna, and I don't think too many servers, it's leveled right now. Winstead, if Winstead levels up, here's your guide for that. The Illowin quest, I didn't really put a guide. It's really simple, just follow the steps. And general tips, do read through this if you get a chance. I put a lot of interesting things in here that should help you if you're kind of new. Mob grinding locations, here's the map of the mob grinding locations. Here's your flame sieve. Crabs are not as good as they used to be because they buff their HP and they give them some kind of like protection buff that they spam on themselves. The raptors are pretty good up here too. To me, number one is flame sieve mobs, kill the ancients because that flame sieve one-shots these 13 to 15s. Number two is the raptors because these are all level 15 and there's a lot of them, but it's heavily farmed. And then crabs, there's a good spot of 15 crabs down here. Those are the best grinding spots that I know of. And there's some other stuff. A lot of this I've gone over. Dungeon levels, if you're bored and you want to just start doing dungeons, they don't really have loot. There's not a lot to a lot of the dungeons, but they are really cool looking when you get inside of them. So try this out if you're bored and you want something to do. I put the mob levels of these dungeons so you can kind of see which ones are kind of, almost everybody does the apparition one because of the apparition quest, and that does have a good item. Go through these dungeons. Some of these aren't actual dungeons. They're listed as dungeons on the map. They're not really dungeons. Holdouts, I put the mob levels on here. Most of these have some sort of quest chain for them, but not all of them. Let's see, Hollow-Root. Yeah, the landmarks, I did the same here. Named bosses, I kind of tried to get as many of the bosses as I could listed on here. The ancients are really hard too, but I couldn't find a quest chain for them. Yeah, the main quest chain dragons are your ice one. You get that location at the starter area right next to Landry. The apparition one, you get that as you head west of the starter area towards Winstead. It just pops up and you follow the waypoints. That one automatically appears in your quest log. Poison Dragon, you can actually get the quest right there, but it's a quest that starts in the starter area, I believe. If you just follow it, you should get it. If you follow my guide, you should have that quest. If not, you can get it on the road just west of the Poison Dragon. These Tundra and Flame, I think, is not there anymore. That might have moved. I think those are the main ones. Some of these others, like, they don't have quest chains. They're just out there. So you don't usually do them. Gathering areas, Trader's Rock is the best one I've seen for most gathering materials. And then I put a couple others on here. The coordinate system has changed, so now these coordinates may not be quite right. Crafting, process your materials in town to avoid dropping them. Important because, yeah, you drop half your mats when you die. So make sure you process every time you're in town and sell your essences to get gold because you don't drop gold either. And that's the guide. I think it'll be a big help for any new players to the alpha if you decide to spend the $500, which, by the way, I don't recommend it because, man, there is not much content right now. Like, you can power through the content pretty fast if you really just sit down for a couple days and kind of no life it pretty hard for a couple days, especially if you follow this guide. Like, you can really power through this content that's available right now super fast. I don't recommend the $500, but what happened for me is I do not have a game to play right now at all, and I fell for the hype big time of Ash's creation. And a long time ago I told myself, I'm not gonna do this early access thing anymore. It never works very well. I always end up disappointed in the end. Like, wait for the actual game, but guess what? I fell for it again. I fell for the trap again. I bought the early access. I can't help myself because when I really like a game, especially in MMOs, I want to get in early and start learning the game as soon as I can. And this Alpha 1 map is part of the actual map, and I think, yes, some things will change, no doubt, because it's some of this placeholder, but some of these things will actually be useful in the future because some of this may make it into release. Okay, so as far as future plans for the channel, I've got a lot of videos of all the bosses. I could do some mechanics videos. I haven't seen a lot of people out talking about actual mechanics on these bosses. And I think some of these mechanics could make it into the actual game, so it could actually be something that has actual longevity that you could actually use come release. So I may do some of those videos. I have footage, I think, of every boss, except I don't think I have ice. I've done ice, but I don't think I got video of it. Yeah, I could actually do some mechanics videos. The bosses actually have some pretty good mechanics, so if you haven't done the bosses and you're in alpha, I do recommend trying to get the bosses. They have some pretty interesting mechanics, and they're pretty well fleshed out. Like, there's a lot of issues with the game. It's a very early game, but I like the boss fights. I'm a PvP guy by nature. That's my main thing, but this game you're gonna have to PvE to PvP. It's gonna be one of those types of games, and a lot of MMOs are that way. So knowing the raids is important even for somebody that's more PvP oriented. Yeah, I guess let me know what content you want me to cover. I can try to get some more videos. I have a lot more information that I could probably share or gather. I could do a tour of Nala. We leveled up Nala quite a bit. Show you where the armory and the blacksmith are for getting your better crafting weapons. I could do a video on that pretty easily. Let me know what else you would like to see, and I will get it out to you guys. And I will see you later.